Welcome to my channel. Good to have you here. Today, I'd love to talk about a very controversial topic, abortion, but adding in my viewpoint from the hypnotherapy sessions that I'm giving from a more spiritual aspect. And I'd love to add a very fascinating client story that shows you why I think it would be very, very important to bring in a different awareness in regards to that topic. What we so often forget is women experiencing abortions, they so often carry a huge load of guilt with themselves afterwards. We are either pro-choice or pro-life. We think it's only those two lanes, but we don't talk about what happens afterwards. What happens to the women that are experiencing an abortion? How do they deal with that? And very often those women, they just carry around the guilt with themselves and cover it up. It's like a veil that's just covering this taboo because you don't talk about it. And yes, there are probably a lot of women that are happy with the decision, but also a lot of women are not. And this needs to be addressed because that's really a heavy thing to carry around, this guilt, and always feel bad about yourself and about your own decisions. Because intuitively, we know human life always involves a human soul. And deciding to end that human life also means that we are not allowing that human soul to come into our lives. And that's the viewpoint that we need to become aware of, to see it from a more spiritual aspect, that there is always a soul involved. Yet you can converse with that soul. And that's the fascinating client story I have for you, because this gorgeous, beautiful lady came to me and she mentioned she has an unwanted pregnancy. It was a very early stage. She was very sensitive, and so she noticed it 2, 3 weeks in already. So this means there was no heartbeat, and it was really just a very early stage. And she mentioned she would like to give it a try, to have a hypnotherapy session addressing it, because she considers abortion, but she'd really rather prefer to have a more gentle approach. And I told her, okay, we can give it a try. And so within hypnosis, I guided her to her higher awareness, and she was connecting to her whole soul self. And there I was inviting her to see the unborn soul in front of her and to really become aware of this unborn soul. And then I invited her to have a dialogue, to talk to that soul, find out who that is, and really go into dialogue, but also clearly state your own position, clearly state your intention, clearly state how you feel about it. And that's what she did. She was talking to that soul in such a kind and loving way, and nevertheless a clear way, sharing that for her it wasn't the right time to be pregnant. It wasn't the right time to take care of a child. And so she told that soul, I love you. You really are a most precious soul. But in my life, I'm not ready for a child. Interestingly enough, she wrote a message to me the next day and she mentioned the pregnancy stopped. That was a really big surprise for me, because I really thought, well, she's going to find her peace with the baby. She's going to love the baby afterwards. But it really happened that way, that the pregnancy stopped. So it was very clear for the soul as well that there's not the right time for her. And I think that that was the most harmonious and most gentle way I could have ever imagined how to solve this topic. Because let's face it, if a woman is pregnant and she has to go into a clinic, it's always quite a raw experience. And it's always actually quite traumatic in the end for a lot of women. Not all of them. Some are really happy about it. Some really feel good about it. But a lot of women, they really feel bad about it and they find it quite traumatic. So noticing that this unborn soul, we can't talk to them. It's like opening so many doors. This does not only mean that we have to address it in situations where maybe we are considering an abortion, but this also means we can talk to this unborn soul and really see it as this beautiful being when we are pregnant and when we are ready to bring life onto this planet. And also sort things out, clear things out to make it more harmonious for the relationship between that soul that's coming in and ourselves as women. But this also means when we are aware that a soul never vanishes, a soul never dies. This means if we have lost a loved one, we can also meet them from a higher perspective. And it's quite gentle and quite comforting when we do so within such a session, because someone is sort of holding the space and we can work through the grief, the sadness that we might carry and meet that soul. And this already shifts the perspective in a very big way. Meeting someone from your soul awareness, from a higher awareness, is always very impactful, very impressive, and also makes you notice about your own soul, brings awareness to you how your own soul is something that will never end. So yes, that's just my take on it. And I'm curious what you think about it. I'm really curious about what your thoughts are in regards to that topic. So yeah, that's just from me. And I'm happy to see you soon, talk to you soon. So take good care and goodbye for now.